Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play Unreal Return to Pali. On this episode we're playing the Boundary of the Foundry. Boundary. Or something like that. Anyways, I got really lucky here with the Lesser Brute and I pushed him into the sludge. If you're lucky enough to do that, then you're lucky. Most of the times I tried to practice this level I wasn't able to do that. But if you do it kind of all set with an 8-ball and all 6 rounds, you'll do that no problem. You'll also notice a super health up here. The way to get to that is actually, if you'll notice a red circle here, if you hit that with an explosive weapon, it'll open up an area down here for the jump boots. And I don't really need the super health because of 2 reasons. Well, one is that I'm going to conserve my health as much as possible in this level because the last couple of levels in this game after this are really hard. The next reason is we're going to have plenty of chances for more super health in this level, so there's no real point to grab that one. Here you'll notice one window here does not break, and you'll notice why in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and grab what's in some of these windows here. Well, eventually. I'm getting my 8-ball out. What does that mean? That means a brute is on his way. That's why one of the windows doesn't collapse, because he's the one that has to break it. Another thing I wanted to point out about this level is, again, this is going to be in 2 separate parts. I recorded the entire level, and it turned out to be about 1 hour and 15 minutes without any edits, without any cuts. That's including a few retakes that I had to do. And so, yeah, this is going to have to be about 2 15-minute segments, and that'll work. Now, I went back here just to take a look at something and give you another look at the super health up here. You'll notice you can get down there with the jump boots, and you can actually use an extra toxin suit eventually for that, but like I said, there's no reason. Now notice the little cylinders on the right here. Just notice how they look now. Now there is a scourge down here that I'm going to have to deal with. The one thing I like about scourge is, in spite of the fact that they want to jump out of the way of projectile weapons, they are pretty predictable. Like that. Sometimes they'll just stand still, and you can get them that way. And sometimes with the grenade launcher, you can use a secondary attack. Yes, secondary attack. Leave a grenade somewhere where you know they will jump towards or be near, then explode it. So that's really cool. We're gonna go to the other side before we go up that lift. And over here, there's actually a few pupa. Kind of hear them. The flat cannon's really good against the pupa. I've also had good luck lately with the dispersion pistol against the pupa. If you remember in the Sunspire in Unreal, I think I was trying to use the dispersion pistol against the pupa, and obviously it didn't work that well. They wanted to jump out of the way. It may have been the distance that I was at from the pupa, but it seems like I'm having better luck with projectile weapons than the pupa this time around. The flat cannon has a really nice range of attack, so it's really good against those little spiders. Well, I guess they're not spiders because they only have 4 legs, but it's funny, if that's the way Scourge are born, then, yeah. Hate to be a babysitter. For some reason that box doesn't want to explode all the way. Anyways, you'll notice that there were toxin suits in those little alcoves there. Well, we'll need them eventually. Trust me on that. There's a Scourge up on the ledge here, past the elevator. And he's kind of difficult to get to. He's waiting right where I'm pointing at. See? And what you want to do is to move down here. At least get in a couple of attacks, move back up and back down, because you're in very close quarters here. And that's if you want to save your health, and I recommend you do that. because we're going to get into some really tough situations in the future. We need to go back up here. And over here there are actually going to be two switches that we need to, well, not switches, but wheels that we have to turn. But before we get there, we have to open this door and deal with yet another Scourge. Well, eventually. He'll come out. You'll notice this is above that little sludge room that we were just in, the alcoves for the toxin suits. Just thought I'd give you a good look at that. Now here comes the Scourge. I was kind of hoping he would attack some of this iridium sludge and it would actually explode on him, but it didn't do that. Well, it doesn't look like it did. Maybe it caused some damage, maybe, if we were lucky. But if it didn't, that's okay. I'm giving these Scourge an extra blast because it seems like I'm having a lot of bad luck in that they aren't completely dead when they fall down. There are also pupa on either end of this corridor near the wheels. And there were only 2 pupa over there, but there were about 4 over here, I think. 3 or 4. 1, 2. That was 3 or 4 right there. Yeah, about 4. Anyways, let's go ahead and turn this. There's a hidden, well, not a hidden translator message. There's a translator message around here I was trying to find. It's not really obvious where it is, but it tells you what to do, or at least what not to do. So if the game is telling us not to do something, it's obvious that's what we need to do. They're really giving us a lot of enemies at the last part of this game. I mean, they're really making it challenging, and I like that. An expansion pack to a game should be more of a challenge. It should have extra enemies, it should have good weapons, and this game does. I mean, I really wish I could have had the rocket launcher and the grenade launcher in Unreal. It would have been nice. Or even the combat assault rifle. That would have been really helpful in the last couple of battles, but that's okay. And this is remotely challenging. I would say the last section of this game is definitely more challenging than the last section of Unreal. Or at least for the most part. And by the way, I've already played through the entire game to the end, so I know what's coming up. I'm going to try not to spoil it for you though. But I kind of wanted to see how close we were and what kind of challenges we had to face. Grab a toxin suit, zip up, and go down. Because guess what? We've got water serpents. That's why I have the flat cannon. The flat cannon is absolutely wonderful for those water serpents. Now over here is another lesser brute, and he's got the rocket launcher. So what you need to do is just kind of attack him off to the side and hide and attack. Here's the BIOS rifle, or the bio rifle. I'm calling it the BIOS rifle. Sorry. How many times have I said that? I guess it's going to fire out motherboards at you. But anyway, the bio rifle could have been obtained in the last level, but I decided to skip that because we really didn't need it at this part. We probably will need it towards the last couple of levels though, after this, because there's going to be a lot of enemies. And it could be very useful. Especially in tight corners and corridors, if you know what I mean. This is what I meant by the grenade launcher being very predictable, or very useful against predictable moves by the Scourge. Kaboom! Sometimes you want to shoot him a couple of extra times to make sure he's dead. This is kind of an interesting section right here. You've got an upper level and an upper platform and a lower platform. But before we go down there, I'm going to make sure this Scourge is dead. See what I mean? They give you one Scourge, and then all of a sudden there's another one that comes up out of nowhere. They lull you into a really good false sense of security. And I hope it's not going to get too boring for you how methodical I am at this level, because, well, the last level of this game I'm going to have to be very methodical. Just because of how they set it up, really. But I'll get to that eventually. I'm not sure why I had the stinger out right there, but I did. I love the fact that this Scourge just keeps running away and firing at me. Thinks I'm not going to, he thinks I'm not going to ignore it or something? I don't know. Maybe he thinks that distance helps even though I've got hit scan weapons. I think they're botted to kind of run away and get help, maybe. Or run away to a spot where it's harder for you to hit them, I suppose, but whatever. Now you may be wondering, how do we get back up to the second tier? Well, we go up here, but before we do, you want to launch something up there, because there are a couple of nasty pupas up there. And that's how we get back up here. And I apologize, but I apologize if you kind of wanted this in one section rather than two, but I don't know, I kind of like doing this in two parts when it gets too long, because then I can kind of preview it a lot easier. I don't know about you, but it gets kind of difficult for me to preview an episode if it's 30 or 45 minutes long, because it's easy to get distracted when it goes on too long. Now down here there are a few water serpents. But what I like to do is sneak up on them. And the strange thing is the water serpent on the other side is not going to be woken up by that. Go figure. At this point I wasn't sure if we got him or not, but we did. Now we can't go back in the way we came, we actually have to swim through here. You'll notice the door is kind of shut behind us. Well, it's permanently shut. What we need to do is we need to jump down in this hole. I'm checking to make sure there's no other water serpents. We need to jump down here. And I wasted some ammo there. Don't worry, they give us plenty of flak shells. Now we can go back this way. But the problem is once we do, there are some more pupas that have decided to creep out of the walls and attack us. Of course. You'll notice they give us another toxin suit in case we need it. I'm going to skip it for now. That way I have something extra in case something goes wrong. Well, maybe not. I'll get it anyway. I changed my mind. I think there was one toxin suit that I did skip, though. So I may have gotten that confused with this one. That's possible. Rocket launcher's really good for this guy. Because we've got a nice little natural shield from this garage door. I'm not sure that garage doors would break that way if it was segmented horizontally like that, but whatever. I didn't design the game. I mean, this is before you had these nice physics engines like Mirror's Edge and the game I played Switchball, you know. Physics was very crude back then. It's still a good game. I mean, it's not terrible, and it's actually pretty challenging and pretty fun. And for an expansion pack, I gotta hand it to them. They did a really good job with this. In terms of the challenge, new enemies and new weapons, it was really complimentary. Although a few things I would have probably changed, but that's okay. I mean, let's be honest, Unreal really set the bar very high for first-person shooters, and it was going to be difficult for any other game, especially Unreal, to go beyond that bar. A few of them did, sure, but they're few and far between. Somebody complained about me not using a machine gun. Well, I use it a little bit. You'll notice it has a spin-up rate, so it's not very good for enemies that move around really fast, like the Scarge. Now they're good for crawl, and they're good for the brutes up here. And we got him. Anyways, that wraps up this episode, or this part, so thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.